There you go. So as people are joining, if you guys will type into the chat where you are from and what you currently teach or what your role is. And yes, this is going to be a repeat of the previous session. I'm going to try to get online a little sooner, but if you want to watch it again, you can. If not, you can join the science session. The link is in the chat.
Perfect. I think we can start.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around. So Shelly's been working as a senior curriculum specialist for McGraw Hill since 2007. Prior to that, she worked as a 6 to 12 math coach and a lead curriculum writer for a distance learning project for students in remote areas of Alaska. She's completed her master's degree in educational leadership in 2009, and she passionately believes that all students can learn math. So thank you again for joining us today, Shelly, and take it away.
Well, thank you so much. And I am coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida, and very excited to share with you a program that really, I believe firmly can be a huge difference maker for all of our students, especially in these remote learning types of settings that we have. Reveal Math is a brand new program. This was completely rewritten. If you've seen our Glencoe Math from before, please know that Reveal Math is completely different. And we wrote this because there were definitely changes in mathematics instruction across the world, but we also wanted to create a brand new program that focused really on super high expectations for all of our students, but the built-in strong support that they needed, along with a curriculum that was coherent and focused. So not just something that was difficult, but just something that really held students to a high expectation, but really made sense for everyone. That our teachers would always have a way to build upon prior knowledge that the students had and to have all of the resources that they needed to reach today's learners. Because today's learners really need that ability to be active learners and participants in the classroom. So they're going to be running simulations, they're going to be changing variables, they're going to be using technology to have those aha understandings as they are going through. Utilizing technology that is purposely built into the student experience, not something that was just an add-on that could be a potential resource. It actually is a purposeful part of the instructional process. And with assessment items that kept up with that same type of experience, not just multiple choice questions or true false questions with a couple of short response, but questions that really had students thinking and utilizing the technology. The students will always be using a print. If they're using the print, they're going to have an interactive print experience. If they're just using the digital, they're going to be running those simulations, and they're going to just have the opportunity to really thrive with the understanding of the mathematics. The print and digital practice, a teacher can always print an assessment, but students can do things digitally when it comes to assessment, whether it's just practice or whether it's some summative assessment, where they really do get an opportunity to explain their understanding, but also get help if they need it. And that's where this program also really shines, is having built-in differentiation, whether it's remedial support resources, whether it's addressing prerequisite skills, or whether it's challenging our students. They are differentiated and very much a personalized learning experience for the teacher and students. We have brought in some new authors that are helping us change student attitudes towards mathematics. One of those is Dr. Raj Shah, who has written these Ignite activities. So this is an example from 7th grade where our students are getting an opportunity to have their curiosity ignited. The intent of an Ignite activity is to invite all students to notice something and to wonder something. So in this example, it's just taking a simple board game with 6 cards that have been played and having students, asking them what do they notice or what do they wonder. And what we hear from students are things like, well, I wonder whose cards these were. I wonder what order they were played in. I wonder whether or not the order would have been different, the position would have been different had they been played in a different order. So it's about just getting kids to just start thinking mathematically before we get into the depth of the content that's there. So that was an example from 7th grade. And here's an example from geometry. If there was a W that was written on the page and a teacher gave students straws, how many, they can notice that there are 3 triangles that were created, but they might wonder, well, if I had used additional straws, how many more triangles could I have created? What's the most number of triangles? What's the largest triangle? So lots of different ways to engage our students and to start as a teacher listening for academic vocabulary, listening for what are the things that are exciting our students. And what we notice with this is that teachers have a handout, they have a resource that tells them, how do they foster a student understanding with this. But the great thing about an Ignite activity is there is no wrong answer with this because it's just engaging the student curiosity. And I think that is a huge difference maker with our students. The lesson model for Reveal Math is similar to, in some ways, what a lot of teachers do in their classes already. Most teachers that I know of start class off with some sort of warm up or bell ringer, some sort of activity at the very beginning, and we do as well. We have a warm up and then a lesson launch that helps answer that age-old question, why do we have to learn this? But everything that's in our lesson model is in a pre-built lesson presentation that I'll show you as we move online. But it is the next step in our lesson model that I think really makes Reveal Math a true game changer for our students. And that is built-in review of prerequisite skills. Especially important right now with what has taken place within the last year and the interruption in many students' learning. Now a teacher in Reveal Math will have those prerequisite skills built in to the lesson model. Then your students will move into an explore and learn phase. So many of the lessons in the book might have several explore activities or learn activities. And let me show you an example of what I mean by that. Here's an example from our Algebra 1, where students are doing an exploration using a simulation. And all they're told to do is to rotate this line and to make observations as to what happens. And notice that we're just using some good terminology with rise over run, but we're not bringing in slope and the formula for slope. At this point, we're just having students notice and recognize that something is changing, which is also going to help spark their curiosity. You'll notice in the margins of all of our student editions, students are prompted to think about it and to talk about it. And these are questions that really do start to get at the depth of understanding. Things like if the point 1,3 is on a line, what other point could be on the line to make the slope positive? And these are types of questions that there's not just one answer that goes along with this, which really helps get that understanding and those collaborative conversations going in our classroom with our students. You'll see a variety of different, what we call web sketches that we use our program called Geometry Sketchpad that is part of the McGraw-Hill family. And everything is built in at point of view. So a teacher never has to leave the program to find the resources that they need. And these pre-built types of simulated experiences really help bring the math to life for the students. They'll also see great videos that help explain why they're learning the math, where that math may be used in real life. They'll use a variety of different virtual manipulatives, such as this example in the lower left-hand corner. And then when it comes to the practice and assessment, the example in the lower right-hand corner shows you just an example of the types of experiences that students might see in their homework practice and or in their assessments. So this process of explore, learn, followed by examples and extra examples may repeat itself several times. So the example that's in the pre-made presentation matches what's in the student edition. For every single one of those, a teacher is going to have an extra example that they can choose to use if they want. Then for every single lesson, there's going to be an exit ticket. And now we have incorporated something new into about once per module, you're going to see something called a formative assessment math probe. These are provided by a woman by the name of Cheryl Toby. And what she says is we need to incorporate more formative assessment into our classes. And so we are helping to uncover misconceptions or overgeneralizations that our students have in our mathematics courses. And so this is just an example of getting students to, after they've learned about the rules for operations with integers, is to just look and decide whether or not these answers are going to be positive or negative. So by using formative assessment math probes, we are making sure that those misconceptions are handled before they become a permanent part of a student's knowledge state. So the teachers are going to know exactly when is best to assign the probe, how to analyze what the student responses are. And then if a teacher discovers that their students have misconceptions about the mathematics, then we're going to help them take action. Again, built directly into the mathematics program in the form of two resources for a resource, but two different resources for our different grade levels. So for 6th, 7th, 8th grade, as well as Algebra 1, we have one built-in remediation resource that is called a Take Another Look mini lesson. These mini lessons are about 15 minutes in length. There are about 100 of them in each one of the courses. And the intent of these is to provide a reteaching opportunity for our students who might not have gotten a firm understanding of the content when it was taught. It is embedded directly into the program. The teacher does not need to go find this. But in the age of what we have learned in the past year is that some teachers have been utilizing these Take Another Look mini lessons as a pre-lesson instead. So they're calling them Take a First Peek. And the students are utilizing these in an asynchronous learning type of environment where they are getting some modeling of the lessons, they're getting some interactive practice, and they get an opportunity to actually have some data checks that go along with it. So we see that some teachers are having some great success with having the students do some pre-learning when they are not face-to-face with the teacher. And that is pretty exciting because not only are, there are so many flexible resources within Reveal Math, and in this last year, teachers have found a lot of great ways to utilize those resources to meet the needs of their particular students. This acronym that's on the screen stands for Quick Review Math Handbook. The Quick Review Math Handbook provides built-in intervention and a look back in a printed form that can also be viewed digitally, but it's kind of just a quick review of what students have learned with their teachers, and that is for our Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 students. So the great thing is Algebra 1 students get both Take Another Look and the Quick Review Math Handbook resources. And then once we are sure that they have an understanding of the concepts, we're going to move into the practice phase where the homework practice that's in the book focuses on the mathematical practices, and students can do their homework online. For every single lesson in Reveal Math, there are 3 leveled homework assignments that a teacher can give. One is going to be practice, that's going to be a mix of different depth of knowledge levels of our students. A reinforce activity is going to focus more on this basic skills, or a reason and apply activity is going to focus more on the applications of the mathematics. And a teacher can even mix and match these if they choose. We provide extra practice in the form of either a worksheet or a digital resource that students can use. And everything that teachers see is printable. It is also fully customizable. So while we think we've done a great job at creating some practice resources for teachers, if they want to use the practice item bank, all of these questions are in that practice item bank. And when your students do their homework online, if a teacher chooses, they can give students multiple attempts at answering the questions, as well as providing hints and explanations. For me, as a former high school math teacher, this is the most exciting part, I think, of Reveal Math, in the sense that students get an opportunity to self-correct their homework right at the exact moment that they do it. So they're given instant feedback. If the teacher has enabled that feature, they're given instant feedback as to whether they're right or wrong. They can watch video help. They can get tutorials built in right at point of use, which allows a student to recognize their own mistakes and to self-correct, which is super important. And there's no reason why our students aren't doing great homework, getting 100 on their homework, but because they really put some effort into it. There are algorithmic questions, the ones that change values, found in our spiral review, as well as our dynamic module practice. And everything can be graded by our system with a wide variety of reports. Just within our practice bank of questions, there are between 2,000 and 4,000 questions, depending on the course, that a teacher can use, that they have at their disposal to let the students practice. And there are so many different types of questions that will help our students meet the digital literacy standards, including types where students can draw on the screen. And the brand new one is an audio recording where a student can explain their thinking to the teacher, and the teacher gets an opportunity to hear that in the student's own words. This is a great one for use in a hybrid type learning situation. For teachers, you're going to always see that the mathematical practices are built into the lessons, how to recognize productive and non-productive struggle, and how students can write about their understanding. The differentiated instruction also lends itself down to the lesson and example level. When teachers are utilizing the examples, they are provided with rich questions for mathematical discourse, whether students are approaching a level of understanding, whether that level of understanding is on level, or BL stands for beyond level, for the different types of questions that really help challenge our student thinking. And that is for every example in the student edition. Teachers will always have all of a list of all of their differentiated resources that they can use, and everything is literally right at point of use. For homework, again, there are 3 levels of homework that a teacher can give that's pre-made, but a teacher could also utilize the depth of knowledge chart that is incorporated to create their own homework right out of the practice item bank of questions. When it comes to assessment, there is a diagnostic and placement test and end of course test for every course. There are also 3 benchmark tests included for our middle school programs. For every module, there are 5 pre-made module tests, 3 that are parallel assessments that have a mix of level 1, level 2, and level 3 questions. Form B is going to be more skills-based questions, and Form C is going to be more application-based questions. And of course, a teacher has the flexibility to mix and match questions from this, even pulling questions from their homework if they wanted to. Put it all together are pre-made quizzes, and like our homework, everything is printable, everything can be done online and graded. It is all fully customizable, and there are, in addition to the 2,000 to 4,000 practice questions, there are between 2,000 and 4,000 assessment questions that teachers can utilize as well. So I just want to show you real quick what the digital experience looks like, because you or any teachers that you know can utilize and try the program on your own. The dashboard itself, when everyone logs in to the program, if you'll click right here, you'll get a clickable digital tour that will give you a good overview of the program. But to just try it for yourself, if you click right here underneath Browse Your Course, you can see all of the course materials. You can scroll down and use the drop-down arrows to go into a module or a lesson. At the module level is where you will find the, underneath these digital file folders, you will find the Ignite activity. Be sure to give yourself the teacher notes. You'll also find the Formative Assessment Math Probe. And again, be sure to use the teacher notes. As I scroll back up to the top, if you choose from the drop-down, you choose to go into a lesson instead. This is the lesson model that we follow across the bottom, and all of the resources are here. But the easiest way I can say to try this for yourself is to go in and to click Launch Presentation. And again, there's an edit button beside it. If you needed to edit the presentation, you could do that. But everything is already pre-made. So I'm going to click Open Tray in the lower right-hand corner. And you can see that this is a pre-made lesson all ready to go. And even all of those digital experiences, incorporating the web sketches and things are already built in. So you'll see we can explore, we learn, there's the example, and then there are extra examples as well. So this is that same example that I had earlier, and the students just come in, they rotate the line, they can stop that, they make observations, and they can see and answer questions directly in this. So they never have to leave the program in order to get those rich mathematical experiences and those interactive simulations. A teacher can even go in and add in any of their own resources for students. So any web-based resource can be also brought into the program. So when you go back and you are exploring this on your own, I encourage you to either look down across the bottom and the view changes whether or not you are in tile view or in list view. I prefer list view, but you can see all of the resources. You can utilize any of these resources. And I just want to show you that not only can students do their assignments in our assessment center, but everything is also available as a Word document in case a teacher needs to edit in that sense. And the last part I'll show you is under additional resources, under differentiate. This is the review example that helps address those prerequisite skills. If I need it, I can add it directly into my presentation. I don't have to use it, but it's there if I need it, as are the Quick Review Math Handbook resources, the Take Another Look 15-minute mini lessons. I can add those to the presentation. I can assign it to my students to do, but you'll see that in fact, this one has 3 different activities that are going to support a student in learning rate of change and slope. So I know that we are at the end of the time. I hope that I ignited some of your curiosity about Reveal Math. If you have any questions, you can type those into the chat. I'll stay on for a couple of moments and answer those. But if you wanted to try this on your own, you just need to reach out to whoever services your particular school system from within McGraw-Hill. They can provide the username and password for you to try it. And I encourage you to really see what kind of passion for math you can reveal with your students in your own classes. So thank you for spending some time this afternoon. If you did not type into the chat where you are from, I would love to know that and what you teach. And otherwise, thank you for joining us, and we will hopefully see you again very soon. And Hamad put the information. You can email marketing.emea@mheducation.com, and they will connect you with a learning consultant so you can try Reveal on your own. So I hope you all found something interesting today, and have a great evening.
Perfect. Thank you, Shelly. I think we'll just stay around for a couple of minutes in case anyone has any questions.
Okay, but I am stopping the recording.